What if the walls closing in on you aren't made of stone but of memory? You look at your life, the struggle, the repetition, the silence, and you think you are trapped in a hard, unchangeable reality. But you are not trapped in a world. You are trapped in a loop of your own consciousness. You have been playing a character in a simulation designed by your past thoughts, believing it is the only truth. But the door is not locked. It never was. In the next few minutes, we are going to dismantle the illusion of stuckness. I am going to show you that the key to the exit has been in your pocket since the beginning of time. It is time to stop playing the victim of the simulation and start being the architect of it. You look at the world around you, the stack of unpaid bills on the table, the silence of a phone that refuses to ring, the reflection in the mirror that shows age or worry, and you fall into the trap of believing this is the hard, unchangeable reality. You have been conditioned since birth to think that these solid facts are the cause of your internal state. But this is the great illusion of the senses that keeps you trapped in a loop. There is only one reality, one foundational substance from which all things are made, and that is consciousness. Everything you see, every circumstance you encounter, every person who walks into your life is simply your own consciousness pushed out, objectified in the screen of space to show you who you are. There is no out there, independent of what is happening in here. You are the operant power, the architect who has forgotten his blueprints. The world is a mirror, forever reflecting the state of consciousness you occupy, and it has no choice but to reflect exactly what you feed it. The key to this mystery, the secret name of God that has been hidden in plain sight within every scripture and ancient text, is simply, I am. Before you are a name, before you are a profession, before you are a body with aches and pains, you exist. You are. This awareness of being is the only door through which anything can enter your world. It is the unconditioned reality that precedes all creation. When you say, I am, you are declaring your existence, but you are also activating the creative power of the universe. It is not a philosophical concept. It is an actual law of physics. Whatever you attach to that phrase, whatever you claim to be true about yourself in the deep silence of your own mind, must be externalized. You are not a tiny human fighting a giant universe. You are the universe playing the role of a human, using the power of I am to shape the clay of your life. But here is where the tragedy of the human experience lies, and where you likely lose your way in the labyrinth of life. We misuse this creative power every single hour of every single day, totally unaware of the havoc we are wreaking. You walk around saying, I am tired, I am broke, I am lonely, I am sick, not realizing that you are signing a divine decree with every thought. The moment you attach a condition to your I am, you are commanding the boundless energy of the cosmos to mold itself into that exact likeness. You are not merely describing your day or venting your frustration. You are aggressively creating your tomorrow. The unconscious creation of limitations is the only reason you feel stuck in patterns that never seem to break. You are the prisoner and the jailer, locking yourself in with your own definitions of self. By divine law, whatever is attached to I am must manifest in the physical world. There is no judge granting favors, only a law reflecting content. You have accepted the evidence of your senses as final, forgetting that the senses are merely a feedback loop of past assumptions, a delayed report of what you felt yesterday. When you say, I am, you are claiming a state of being, and the universe, impersonal and obedient, says yes. If you claim lack, you must manifest lack. This is not punishment. This is the precision of the law. The outer world has no choice but to reflect what you are conscious of being. You cannot scream at the mirror to change its reflection while you keep making the same face. You must stop trying to change the world by fighting the reflection, and instead, do the only thing that works. Change the face you present to the mirror. Therefore, the first step out of the simulation is to realize that you have been living in a house built by your own unconscious thoughts. The poverty, the struggle, the rejection, they are not accidents. They are your own consciousness displayed. To change the world, you must leave the mirror alone and go within. You must detach your I am from the limitations you have accepted and attach it to the ideal you wish to express. It requires a radical withdrawal of attention from the problem and a total investment of attention into the solution. You must dare to say, I am wealthy when your pocket is empty. You must dare to say, I am loved when you are alone. This is not lying. This is speaking the truth of the next reality into existence. But that's only the surface. You must understand that imagination is not what you have been told. It is not child's play, nor is it a whimsical flight of fancy to escape the harshness of reality. Imagination is the very act of selecting reality. Imaginal acts are facts. When you close your eyes and imagine a state, you are not visualizing something that might happen in a distant future. You are stepping into a reality that already exists in the vast, finished library of creation. Creation is finished. All possible versions of you, the wealthy you, the healthy you, the loved you, exist right now, in this present moment, in the fourth dimension, waiting for you to occupy them. Imagination is the travel agent that moves your consciousness from one state to another. When you imagine with conviction, you are actually experiencing a reality that is just as hard and real in the spiritual world as this floor is in the physical world. However, there is a crucial distinction you must master if you want to stop wasting your time. The vast difference between thinking of your desire and thinking from it. Most people spend their lives thinking of what they want. They look at the car, they look at the money, they look at the relationship, and they pine for it. This keeps the object of desire separate from you, in the future, over there. But the master thinks from the desire. To think from the end means you look at the world through the eyes of the person who already has it. You do not see the house you want. You see the world from the living room of the house you own. You see your friends congratulating you. You see your bank account balance from the perspective of the account holder. You must mentally move into the state and remain there until it feels like home. This brings us to the secret of secrets, the engine that drives the entire machine of manifestation, feeling. The language of the subconscious is not logic, nor is it intellectual words. It is feeling. You cannot simply chant empty affirmations in front of a mirror and expect a shift if your gut is twisted with anxiety and your heart is heavy with doubt. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. What would it feel like right now if you were the person you want to be? Would you feel a rush of excitement? Or would you feel a deep, heavy sigh of relief? Would you feel a quiet, steady gratitude? That sensory vividness is the key. You must capture the mood of the solution. It is not about forcing the mind to see a crystal clear picture. It is about persuading the heart that it is true. When you catch that feeling, even for a moment, you have done something profound. You have impregnated the subconscious. The seed is planted. You have moved from the state of wanting, which implies lack, to the state of having, which implies fulfillment. Once that shift happens within, the outer world is under compulsion to reshuffle itself to match your new assumption. It is inevitable, but you must make it visceral. Smell the leather of the new car. Feel the weight of the wedding ring on your finger. Hear the tone of voice of your friend saying, "I'm so proud of you." The more sensory details you can engage in your imagination, the more real it becomes to your subconscious. You are not pretending. You are rehearsing the truth until the outer world catches up. Realize this. Your inner world is the substance, and the outer world is the shadow. If you are loyal to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, no power on earth can stop it from hardening into fact. But if you constantly check your feelings against the external world, you abort the seed. You must trust the feeling more than you trust your eyes. The feeling is the guarantee. It is the title deed. When you possess the feeling of the end, you possess the reality itself. And the time delay between the invisible and the visible is just a matter of the density of this dimension. Do not worry about the time. Worry about the feeling. If you can sustain the feeling of naturalness, the manifestation is already yours. Now go deeper, because the timing of your practice is everything. The most potent time to rewrite your destiny is the state akin to sleep, those precious drifting moments before you lose consciousness at night. This is the gap in the armor of the rational mind, the time when the conscious ego steps aside and the door to the subconscious swings wide open. Most people take their frustrations, their arguments, and their worries into sleep, and by doing so, they impregnate the darkness with chaos. To fall asleep feeling worried is to instruct your subconscious to generate more worry for the next day. You must never, ever go to sleep feeling discouraged. It is a waste of the most powerful magic you possess. Instead, you must utilize the sleep technique. As you lie in bed, relax your body and enter a state of drowsiness, where you are in control of your thoughts but physically relaxed. In this state, enact a drama in your mind, where you are the main actor, not the spectator. Construct a short, precise scene that implies your wish is fulfilled. A handshake, a congratulatory voice, the feeling of holding a specific object. It must be a scene that indicates the action is finished. And then, here is the secret. Loop this action over and over. Do not wander. Repeat the handshake. Repeat the phrase. Repeat the feeling until it takes on the tones of reality. Fall asleep in this action. Let this feeling be the last thing you know before you drift into the deep. By doing this, you are tuning your internal radio. States of consciousness are like radio channels. They are all broadcasting simultaneously. The music of wealth, the broadcast of health, the news of love, they are always playing. You have simply been tuned to the static of lack and the noise of struggle. Your job is not to create the music. Your job is to turn the dial. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled in the state akin to sleep, you are locking in the frequency. You are telling the universe, this is who I am now. And as you sleep, your subconscious works for 6 or 8 hours to arrange the events of tomorrow to match that frequency. You wake up in a world that is subtly shifting to meet you. However, the work does not end when you wake up. You require a strict mental diet. You would not eat poison food and expect a healthy body, yet you consume poison thoughts all day long and expect a healthy life. You must become a guardian at the gate of your mind. Every time you catch yourself engaging in an inner conversation that implies failure, argument, or justification, you must stop. Do not finish the sentence. Revise it. Rewrite the script instantly. If you are arguing with a boss in your mind, you are cementing that conflict in your world. Stop it. Hear them congratulating you instead. Hear them agreeing with you. Change the track. The world is nothing more than your inner conversations pushed out. Everything you say to yourself with emotion is a command. You cannot dwell in a state of victimhood mentally, complaining about politics, the economy, or your neighbors, and expect to be a victor physically. The two cannot coexist. The frequency must match. You must align your inner dialogue with your new assumption, regardless of what the external world is screaming at you. If the mailman brings a bill, do not react with, "I can't pay this." Catch that thought. Replace it with, "I remember when I worried about money, but now I have abundance." You must be vigilant. Mastery requires that you do not let a single negative thought go uncorrected. Here's what changes everything regarding the resistance you feel. Your rational mind and your 5 senses will scream that you are lying to yourself. They will point to your bank account which reads 0, your empty bed, your medical report, and they will say, "Look, this is the truth. Stop dreaming." You must understand that this resistance is natural, but it is fatal if you listen to it. The rational mind is an analytical tool based on the past. It can only judge based on what has already happened. It cannot see what is coming. To walk by faith is to trust your inner imagination more than the outer evidence of your eyes and ears. The senses are deceptive. They are the dead echoes of your old vibrations. You must learn to ignore the evidence of the senses. This is the hardest part, but it is the price of freedom. When you deny the evidence of the senses and persist in your assumption, you are effectively dismantling the old structure of your life. You are starving the old state of its nourishment, which is your attention. Persistence is the key. It is not about physical effort or forcing things to happen. It is about loyalty to the unseen reality. How long will it take? It will take as long as it takes for you to convince yourself that it is real. The time it takes for a desire to manifest is directly proportionate to the naturalness of the feeling. Many people fail because they are constantly looking for a sign to confirm their belief. They ask, "Is it working? Where is it?" The moment you look for a sign, you are admitting that you do not believe you have it. You are checking the oven every 5 seconds, letting the heat out. Signs follow belief. They do not precede it. This is the law of reverse order. You do not look into the mirror to see if your face is clean before you wash it. You wash it, and the reflection changes. You must assume you are the person first, and then the signs will flood your life. Miracles are just natural consequences of a change in consciousness. When you are truly living in the end, you do not look for proof, because you are the proof. You walk with an inner conviction, a quiet knowing that it is done. This certainty creates a vacuum in the universe that must be filled. The people, the coincidences, the accidents needed to fulfill your assumption will appear automatically. You do not need to figure out the how. The how is the domain of the divine depth of your own being, a wisdom far greater than your conscious mind. Your only job is the what and the end. If you worry about the how, you are interfering with the divine pattern. Stand still in your assumption and let the universe weave the bridge of incidents. So, how do you live this? You embody the new self now. You do not wait for the money to feel wealthy. You walk with the dignity of wealth now. You wear the feeling of security like a cloak. You do not wait for the relationship to feel loved. You feel the warmth of companionship in your heart now. This is the law of reversibility. If the physical fact can produce a psychological state, then the psychological state can produce the physical fact. You must wear the feeling of the wish fulfilled as you would wear a suit of clothes. It might feel strange at first, like a new pair of shoes that hasn't been broken in, but as you persist, it will become natural. It will become who you are. And the most powerful signal of this transformation is gratitude. Gratitude is not just for things received, it is the creative force itself. Thankfulness is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. When you can say, "Thank you, Father," before the gift arrives in your hand, you have sealed the deal. You are acknowledging that the gift is already yours in the realm of imagination, where it truly counts. A grateful heart is a mind that expects miracles. If you are desperate, you are pushing it away. If you are grateful, you are pulling it in. Live in a state of thanksgiving for the reality you have selected. The outer world is simply a mirror. This concept is your ultimate liberation. You cannot change the reflection, your circumstances, without changing the face in front of the mirror. Your consciousness, force, and external manipulation are unnecessary and exhausting. You do not need to manipulate people. You only need to manipulate yourself. Change the inner state, and the outer world must reshape itself to match. It has no will of its own. It is a slave to your assumption. Ultimately, you are trapped in nothing but your own concept of self. The walls around you are not made of stone. They are made of your own limited beliefs. The world is a simulation of your consciousness, a grand play where every person is a messenger telling you who you believe you are. If you want to exit the loop of repetition, the loop of struggle, you must wake up to your true identity. You are the dreamer and the dream. There is no one to change but self. There is no one to please but self. Stop trying to fix the mirror. Smile at it. Assume the state of the wish fulfilled. Remain faithful to that vision, and watch as the great iron doors of the world swing open before you, not by force, but by the gentle, irresistible power of your own I am. The simulation breaks the moment you stop reacting to it and start commanding it. You are no longer the echo of your past. You are the voice of your future. The mirror has no choice but to smile back at you, but you must smile first. So I ask you, who will you wake up as tomorrow? The victim of the loop or the master of the I am? Write your new state in the comments below. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because you have only just stepped out of the cage. The next video will show you how to fly. Click it now and do not look back.